Janice Fuller. How did we get to know Janice Fuller? We heard about her before we saw her and met her because she had this fantastic habitat survey and management plan for Merlin Woods, and we call it the Bible because it's how we decide what we do next. You know, it calls for things like bat surveys, we did it. It called for things like putting up signs, we did it. It called for things like recording the species and getting to know the area and getting the community involved, we did it. So we followed the rules of the management plan. So we recommend every community should have a management plan and get a management plan done before they decide to develop your area, and start looking after your areas and your environmental places, because all your little green spaces are potentially development prospects if you don't mind them. So we've seen it, you know, the little green spaces beside housing estates and stuff. So you need to look after your green spaces because these are also wildlife corridors and they're also healthy green spaces for people. So I'm going to hand you over to Janice Fuller, and we're delighted to have you here to launch our book today. Thank you, Janice.
Well, I have to say, I'm the person who's absolutely delighted to be. I'm just thrilled to be here. I just think what Friends of Merlin Woods have achieved is absolutely phenomenal. And myself and my colleague Amanda Brown did a survey and a habitat plan for here years ago. I don't know how long ago. And it was actually, it was Stephen Walsh in the Galway City Council who's here. It was his idea because he recognised that we're very fortunate in Galway that we have different pockets of woodland. So we looked at some of those pockets of woodland and we produced a management plan. And to be honest, I'm amazed they've read it so closely because it's as dull as ditch water. It's very academic. It was written in a very scientific manner, and okay, it had maybe a useful, you know, way forward in terms of recommendations, but it wasn't an engaging document. And I think what the huge achievement that Friends of Merlin Woods, and particularly Colin and Caroline, have done is they have kind of brought the love to Merlin Woods. It's all very well putting it all down and very scientific and ecological, but you know, if people don't love something, they're not going to care about it, they're not going to maybe enjoy it as much. But they have really shown the community and shown everybody what's really, really special about this area. You know, we did our survey over a matter of weeks, but they've been here for years documenting, you know, even things like that we're in a city, we're sharing, you know, our city with red squirrels and all different types of birds and invertebrates and fungi. It's absolutely fantastic. So they've really kind of, you know, helped us all to really appreciate it and just make that connection with the woodlands. And we need that connection if we want to protect biodiversity for future generations. And places like Merlin Woods, and there's other Barna Woods and other spots in and around the city, they're hugely important for biodiversity. But I suppose the thing we forget about is that we're part of biodiversity too. So we depend on that biodiversity going forward. You know, we depend on it for the air we breathe, for water, for, you know, all our sectors like agriculture and forestry. Everything we do depends on a healthy natural systems. And we've kind of forgotten that message, but hopefully getting back up again. We're hearing it more and more in the news. And it's also hugely important, especially when you're living in an urban area, that there's places where we can connect with nature. You know, life is stressful these days. You know, we need these green spaces for our communities to enjoy, to relax, to learn. It's a hugely educational, you know, resources, but there's so many benefits, and there's scientific evidence to show that the benefits of having nature in where we live, you know, and valuing that and celebrating that. And I think the community garden, all the things that go with Merlin Woods, you know, really are a very positive benefit. The booklet is absolutely beautiful, and there's not really many of this kind of quality, you know, around. And fair play to Colin with his fantastic photographs and the rest of the Merlin Woods team. I just think it's a fantastic project. You know, there's a lot of people here on a Sunday, lots of other things. Well, I think it really reflects that people are really impressed, really value this place, and really think it's really, really special. And Caroline was saying we need management plans. We need more people like Caroline and Colin, I think, in fairness. And
Thank everybody that's been supportive of it. Our own committee are here as well. There's Brian, Aniko, who else is here? Noel, Grace over there at the table. So they've been really the strength behind us. You know, we might be public eye, but we have this great group of people who give us the thoughts and the foresights and the way to do things and really argue what we need to do next and how we do it. And then we have the Friends of Merlin Woods Facebook group and the community of people around us. And we walk and we meet people day in, day out. So they are really important to us, that we feel that the community support us. And I really feel that the community supports us. And it's a great feeling, you know. When I lay down my head, I feel free. When I close my eyes,
Ní cuid gan phobal seo me ar bhealach. I'm not really part of the immediate community in that I don't live here. Ach, cuidím in my bhealach hain nuair atá an deis am, you know. I help in my own way when I can, you know. Bhí mar radio na Gaeltachta agus TG Cahar, bhím sé ar níos sa ríist, nuair atá gá leis, you know. Mar cahamid stochaí, cahamid an scéala seo a scapa a bhád níos leithne. We have to spread the news of this much further, you know. So an timpalacht a gairí ábhríon beag níos tábhachtaí I mion na líne. Cheapá. You know, you'd imagine that the environment is becoming a little more important in the minds of the people and those who would represent the people. Ach, má bhreaníonn tú an main nó an aspa béime atá curtha ag na polaitéirí atá ag lorg vótaí go láithir. You know, when you look at the emphasis, or perhaps the lack of emphasis, being placed on environmental matters by those seeking office at the moment, you know, fecin muid cécho táhachtach is atá sé, you know.
Well, going back to the country, I can't pay the rent. My mom and dad will sure be mad. All the money I spent. Now I know. Now we know just what they meant. What they meant. I ain't good. None brother, I'm bad man. That's where my money went, and now I know. Now we know just what they meant. What they meant. I ain't broke. Brother, I'm bad country, I'll be living in a tent. Oh, I know it's gonna be mad, all the money you spend. Now I know, now we know just what they meant. What they meant. I ain't broke, cause brother, I'm bad at bed. Okay, anyway. Nice.